nice. But the real building that God is interested in is the human being. The real house of God is not of stone. The real house of God is flesh and blood. And if we will clean up the mosque to receive one whom we honor and respect, then we ought to clean up our bodies and our minds to attract the spirit of life and God into us, that we may become what he created us to be, and that is God's. Since the scripture says he created man and woman in his own image and after his own likeness, then how could you be any less than he is if he created you in his likeness? So you must, and we must, clean up the body and the mind to begin to receive God, that we may become perfect reflections of him. Becoming a part of the mosque is entering into a process. It is not joining a church. It is not joining a religious institution. It is entering into a process that will bring us from where 50,000 years of a fall has taken us back to becoming God. That's the whole reason for your being invited to the mosque. Perhaps you may hear something that will inspire you to enter that difficult process. The process is called in Scripture resurrection. To raise a person from death to life. That's what the process is called. Resurrection. We are raised in degrees or by degrees. And your raising is according to your willingness to submit yourselves to Allah or God and submit yourselves to truth and discipline yourselves by the truth that you've submitted to. That's the process. But that involves almost an eternal struggle. Because if you get tired, and as Paul says to the early Christians, you know, don't get faint, don't get weary, don't you get tired. He's not talking about tired scrubbing floors, tired painting walls, tired exercising, but don't get tired of the process by which you are coming from death to life. Don't get tired. There are times when you will get weary because it takes a lot to wrestle against yourself. It takes a lot to fight against your own personal desires when your desires conflict with the will of God. And sometimes when you first become a Muslim, meaning one who submits to do the will of God, you're so fired up, you're ready to jump in and get on with it, and you do well for a month. You do well for 2 months, for 3 months, but the scripture says The race is not to the who? Swift. But it is to those who can endure to the end. To the end of what? Not to the end of the world. To the end of the process that will make you a God and a perfect resemblance of Christ. I wish the preachers would preach like this.
Come on.